Hi, my name's Aaron Curry, and today I'm going to be showing you and teaching you how you can raise £100,000 of private finance money to invest in property with just a 4-sentence tool, a 15 to 30 second tool. Now this video is the third in a 4-part series where I'm teaching you how you can safely and securely buy property at the best time to buy in over a decade in the coming house price crash. If you are an experienced investor and you've got the education behind you, the coming crash and the bottom of the market is going to be a massive opportunity for you, just a brilliant once in our future lifetime opportunity. However, if you're just starting out in property or you're inexperienced and you're not sure what you're doing, this is a very dangerous time for you, a very dangerous time. So in this video series, I'm going to show you exactly how anybody can build a passive income of £50,000 a year within 2 years from property, regardless of your starting point, provided you have the right education, the right support, and the right accountability. And I want you to understand, and I want you to get by the end of this video series, that you can build a passive income of £50,000 a year safely and securely within the next couple of years in the coming house price crash. Now, in the first video in this series, I covered exactly what's happening in the market right now. I covered the unholy trinity of risks that's in the marketplace right now and why the market's going to crash 5 to 10% in this coming quarter. So if you didn't watch video 1 already, somewhere around here, you need to go click the link right now, pause this video and go watch video 1 so you understand what's happening in the marketplace right now. In the second video in the series, which again is somewhere around here, I covered the 3 key elements that must be in place to build a world-class portfolio. You see, we don't want to build an average portfolio or a rubbish portfolio. That won't look after you. But when you build a world-class portfolio that gives you 4 times the results of an average portfolio, well, that's something that's interesting. So in the second video, I teach the 3 key elements that must be in place to ensure that you get that. So if you've not watched video 2, again, pause this video and go watch video 2. In this video, as I said, I'm going to be showing you and teaching you exactly how you can raise £100,000 in private finance with a simple 4-sentence tool, and how you can build a portfolio that will make you within 2 years £50,000 a year for the rest of your life. Now you might say, who's this talking to me? How do they know how to raise money and raise private finance? Well, to give you a feel, my business, led by me, we raise £20 million a year of joint venture money. People putting their money in and working with us to build a successful property portfolio. So we know how to do this, we know what's at the game. Now, for you as a property investor, let's think about it. There are 2 key things that get in your way of successfully investing in property. The first is, or can be, a lack of money. You know, you may have enough money right now, but your money will run out at some point. You know, you can only buy so many deals. And the second is the deals, a lack of property and a lack of the right properties in the right areas that quadruple those returns and results that you get. Okay, so we need to learn how to get the money that we need, and we need to learn how to get the property that we need. So this video is all about the money, and video number 4, which you'll get in another couple of days, is all about raising all the properties that you need to put with all the money that you're going to raise. So I hope that makes sense. So let's dive right in now, and let's start to think about, how do we raise £100,000? How do we get in the game? Okay, now the thing that I want you to understand is, whether you're starting out, you might be starting out right now and you might say, well, I've got enough money for 2 or 3 houses. I don't need to watch the rest of this video. I don't need this skill. Well, a 2 or 3 houses is going to get you financially free. A 2 or 3 houses is going to finish the job for you. That's the question I've got for you. And if the answer's no, then you can get 2 or 3 houses and then wait for the market to go up, wait to be able to refinance, wait to buy more properties, and get this done in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years' time. You could do that. Or you could learn just one skill. You could learn a skill, a 15 to 30 second skill. You could put that in place and you could go buy 10 houses instead of 3. Or if that scares you, you could go buy 5 instead of 3 over the next 2 years, or 5 in the next year. Or if you're an action taker, you go buy 10 in the next 6 months. It gives you choices when you learn this skill. It gives you choices. Okay, so why would people give you their money? Why would someone come to you and give you their money? Well, let's think about it. If you're a saver, you've saved up and you've got this money sat in the bank, what are your savings earning right now? If you're a saver, what are your savings earning? Or what are other people's savings earning? The Bank of England base rate is currently at 0.1%. Now, that's not what you get from the bank, is it? The bank are paying 0.001. Many of the banks are paying nothing. Nothing. And by the way, there's talk right now, by the time you watch this video, it may even happen, there's talk of the base rate dropping even further. And the base rate dropping even further, the banks are definitely not going to pay you any interest. So imagine there's someone sat with £100,000 in the bank, and you go to them and you say, do you know what? You're getting, well, if they're getting nothing, then you're going to give them an infinite better return. But let's say they're getting 0.001% in the bank. I can give you 5,000 times as much interest as you're getting from the bank. 5,000 times. Now, for you, that's only 5%. That's still a great rate to borrow it at. I can give you 5,000% better rate than you're getting from the bank. Would that interest you? Investors are going to go, well, potentially, yeah. And I can show you that I'm going to buy amazing deals. I learned from Aaron's video 4. I'm going to buy amazing deals. They're going to be in the right areas, the right time, so your money's going to be really, really safe. Would that interest you? Yeah. Okay, great. Let's have a conversation. Who's going to say that doesn't interest them? Who's out there as a saver right now that doesn't want to earn more money? Many of these savers, people have retired and they were planning to live off the interest of their savings. It's dead in the water. They're financially in big trouble. People in their 30s, 40s and 50s who've got savings in the bank that plan to make some interest to grow a nest egg. It's not growing. They're dead in the water financially. It's not growing for them. You can help them, significantly help them. Give them 500, 5,000 times better return than the bank will give them. Give them an infinite better return than the bank will give them if they're giving them nothing. And help yourself at the same time. So it's a win-win situation. So I keep saying there's this kind of 4-sentence tool. Let's teach you it. Let's share it with you so you can learn what you need to put together and how you need to put this together, okay? And please, please have a pen and paper and be making some notes, because at the end of this video, I want you to create your 4-sentence tool. I want you to create it so you can go use it and put it into play. So what is this 4-sentence tool? And I'm going to show you a couple of examples in a minute so you can see some real life examples. And I'm going to show you how people have used them. Everyday people, just like you, have used these to raise this money. And we use it to raise over £20 million worth of joint venture money every single year. So you can definitely do this. You can definitely do this. And I did it right back at the beginning. I talked about in video number 2 that I went and raised money. I didn't have my 4-sentence tool then. So I did it a lot more clumsily than you're going to do. So what we need to do, there are 4 steps to building this base. The first step is to work out what you are going to bring to the table. What are you going to bring to the table? Now, what do I mean by that? Well, in video 2, we talked about those 3 core elements of the joint venture triad. Okay, I don't know if you remember them. There was time, there was money, and there was experience. Time, money, and experience. All 3 need to be at the table to successfully invest. So which of those do you bring to the table? So it might be you bring time. It might be you bring money. It might be you bring experience. It might be you bring a blend. I've got the time and the experience, but you're looking for the money. Or I've got the money and experience and you're looking for the time. So you need to work out, first of all, what you bring to the table. I'll show you some examples in a moment. Secondly, you need to build your piece. You need to brag a little bit. Now, we're taught in the UK not to brag, aren't we? If I was younger and I did some bragging, my dad would clip me around the ear and he'd want to know what the team did, not what I did, or what other people did, not what I did. We were taught not to brag. Some cultures really encourage bragging, our culture doesn't. But the challenge is, it means as a culture we're not very good at recognising what we're good at. You say to a lot of people, what are you good at? And you get this kind of blank stare. Now, if you don't know what you're good at, just message some friends and say, hey, I'm doing this training at the moment. I've got told to ask what I'm good at. Can you tell me what I'm good at? And if you get some sarcastic comments back, just message back and say, hey, I know you're being sarcastic, but seriously, I need it for my training. What am I good at? You know, you might be really, really great at organisation. It might not be a specific property skill, but it's something that you can bring. It's something you're really strong at. You might be great at organisation. You might be great at bringing people together. You might be great at getting stuff done. What are you good at? Okay, so you need to build your piece. You need to build your piece. So you're going to say what you bring to the table, step 1, and then you're going to build your piece. Step 3, tell someone what you're looking for. I'm looking for someone with £250,000 or more who would like a great return on investment. Really clear, isn't it? I'm looking for the money and someone that wants a great return on investment. I'm looking for somebody who's got the time. Now, this is for money, this video, but someone who's got 30 hours a week to go with my experience and build a great portfolio. So you say there what you're looking for, and the final piece you put in is location. People generally, they make the world too large. If I say to you anywhere, your brain can't compute anywhere. But if I say I'm looking to build a portfolio in Bradford, or I'm looking to build a portfolio in Stoke or on Trent, or I'm looking to build a portfolio in London, the brain can compute that. They can go, oh, okay, and then they can say yes or no. Now, I'm giving you some feel here, but let's put some examples up so you start to understand this far more clearly, because what you need to create is a 4-sentence piece that looks like one of these examples, okay? Now, just before I dive in and do that, so you've got the full context of this, the concept of having this property identity, as I call it, your property identity, the concept of having this 4-sentence tool is you can really easily and succinctly explain what you're looking for. You can say what you bring and what you're looking for and the location you want to be in and the strategy that you're going to use all in 4 simple sentences. And what that means is when I'm the receiver of that, when you say that to me, I either see it on your social media or I read it on the back of your business card or you say it to me at a networking event, Zoom networking event at the moment. When you say that to me, I'm able to very quickly go either, yes, that's me, I've got some money, I'm in, or I might be in. It allows me to say, well, it's not me, but actually I've got a friend over here who it might be, they've got £200,000, they might be interested. Or it allows me to say, no, I don't know anybody like that. I can't help, sorry. Okay? But if you can't be succinct, if you can't be clear with me what you're looking for, how can I ever help you? How will you ever find out if I'm right or one of my friends or acquaintances right? Or if indeed I'm not right and you should move on as fast as possible? I used to go to networking events. I'd spend 20 minutes in the break talking to one person and it was great. It was really nice. I made a friend. But we were never going to do business together. My bit of the jigsaw and their bits didn't fit. I was never going to be able to help them. That was such a lost opportunity. So that's why we need this 4-piece property identity. We need it really clear, really succinct, so we can then put it in play and we can raise some money with it, is what this video is all about, okay? So let's have a look. I'm going to throw some up on the screen and we can have a look at some example property identities for you to be able to have a look at. So let's look at this example, which is actually my own, or one of my own. So hi, my name is Aaron and I specialise in HMOs in Yorkshire. Now I'm saying this is my own, I'm not doing HMOs right now, but I'm just giving you this example. If I was doing HMOs in Yorkshire, this is what I'd be using. So my name is Aaron and I specialise in HMOs in Yorkshire. I've got the time and experience over 200 properties. So I tell them what I bring time and experience, I build my piece over 200 properties to build great portfolios. I'm looking for investors with £500,000 plus who would like superb cash flow today and great long-term growth. Do you know anybody like that? So do you see how I've taken the component pieces here? I've said exactly what I bring to the table, the time and experience. I've built my piece with the 200 properties. I've said exactly what I'm looking for investors with 500k plus. It immediately means people can rule themselves out. They can say, this isn't me, or they can rule themselves in and say, this is me, and I'm being really focused. And I'm saying where? I'm saying it's which strategy is HMOs and where in Yorkshire, okay? So let's look at the next one. Hi, my name is John. I specialise in serviced accommodation in Leeds. So it's really clear location, that 4th step is Leeds, and specialises in serviced accommodation. I've got the expertise and time, so really clear, he brings expertise, he brings time, to turn buy-to-let properties into properties that make £1,000 per month. That's interesting, so he turns buy-to-let properties into properties that make £1,000 a month. I'm looking for landlords who would like to get a better return on their buy-to-lets. Do you know anyone like that? Now, if you were a landlord in Leeds, I'm looking for landlords who'd like to get better return on buy-to-lets, you're going to say, well, that would interest me. And then you're going to hear him say, to properties that make £1,000 a month, buy-to-lets, that'd interest me. If that's you and you've got a property in Leeds, you're going to say yes to that. You're going to be open to John and open to what he's got to say. If not, if your friends you know have got a buy-to-let in Leeds, you're definitely going to want to recommend them to John because you're going to think they'll want to hear what John's got to say. So this property identity is going to draw people in, but it also rules out other people. If you've not got a buy-to-let in Leeds, you're not going to bring it up with John. Okay? So on location, remember it needs to be specific. Don't say the northeast or the northwest or the southeast. That's too big an area. Needs to be specific. Okay? Now let's have a look at a third property identity, and then I'll lead in and I'll tell you about a couple of stories where people have used this really successfully. So hi, my name is Andy. I specialise in serviced accommodation in Nottingham and Sheffield. I'm looking for people who would like to safely and securely earn 500 times as much interest on their savings as they do in the bank. Do you know anybody like that? Well, of course you do. So people are going to go, either yes, me, I've got some savings, I want to earn, how do I earn more? Or they go, yeah, I've got some friends with savings, they'd want to earn 500. That question draws a yes, doesn't it? Or it draws a yes, not me, but my friends. Or if they've got no savings, it draws a no, and Andy can move on because that person doesn't have any money, so he doesn't spend 20 minutes with them, he moves on. So Andy would use this as his introduction. Hi, my name is Andy. I specialise in service accommodation in Nottingham and Sheffield. Really clear where he's doing it. I'm looking for people who'd like to safely and securely earn 500 times as much interest on their savings as they do in the bank. Do you know anybody like that? Now let me talk to you and tell you about Andy. Andy's one of my VIP students. So he's on my VIP education program. It's a £12,000 program and it's a 2-year-long program. So Andy joins my VIP program, okay? And I teach this property identity piece in detail. When you're on that program, we go back and forward with every word to get it word perfect. So we've done this and he's got his property identity, the one you see there, but yet he doesn't post it anywhere. He doesn't put it anywhere. He doesn't take action at first. Now, why is that? Do you think when something's new to you, like this concept is new to you that I'm teaching you now, you might be a bit more nervous about it. You might be a bit more fearful. You might say things like Andy said, which is, not sure I want to put that on Facebook and tell my friends what I'm doing. I don't want my friends to know that I'm looking for money. You know, he didn't want to put that out there. So he's with me for 3, 4, 5, 6 months, and he's a great student. He's implementing everything else I teach him, but this bit he's not doing. But then, this is the power of a peer group. This is the power of accountability. So every fortnight he's on our accountability call, and he's hearing what he needs to do, and he's getting pushed on it. And then he sees the peer group starting to do it. He sees the peer group starting to post this property identity. He's starting to get results, and people starting to raise money to find properties, to get deals. Whatever it was they were looking for, they start to get it just using this 4-sentence tool in the right way. So eventually he's like, oh, I'm going to have to do this. You know, everyone else is doing it. I'm going to have to do it. That's the power of an awesome peer group, because property can be a lonely game, of course, on your own. So he's got this awesome peer group, and he goes, right, I'm going to have to take action. And they're cajoling him, they're pushing him. So he takes this property identity, this 4-sentence piece, and he posts it on Facebook, okay? Now, to give you a feel of how he does it, you can just write this property identity. For some reason, he decides he wants to video it, okay? And Andy's not used to talking with a video. He doesn't have a video on a tripod like I have here. So he gets his wife, Rose, to hold her iPhone. She's nervous because she's never videoed anyone doing anything. So her hand's shaking. And she's videoing Andy, and Andy's trying to say his 4-sentence piece, which isn't very long, but he's trying to get it out. So they end up with this shaky video of him saying his 4-sentence piece. And Andy goes, I'm going to put that up on Facebook. So he puts it up on Facebook, and underneath he says, do you know anyone like this? This is an everyday person taking action, moving forward, taking action. Within 3 minutes, he gets a message back. And it's from one of his very close friends who he wouldn't speak to about what he's doing in property, but it's from one of his very close friends who messages back and goes, me. They get in conversation and dialogue, and this person has got £40,000 that they're happy to put in a deal with Andy over the next year. £40,000 raised from a 4-sentence piece posted on Facebook once. Now, by the way, over the next few hours and the next couple of days, other people also reply. Somebody he gets chatting to that is a friend says, we're at the barbecue in a few weeks' time, let's have a chat then. He goes to the barbecue, there's 6 people there, they're chatting at the barbecue, and normally, you know what it's like, you want to talk about money in the UK, it's kind of frowned upon. You definitely don't do that at a barbecue or a dinner party. But here, everyone's seen Andy's post, they're like, what are you doing, how's it work, And he ends up spending an hour and a half talking all about what he's doing in property. And there's 6 people that were there with money that are potentially interested in working with Andy, and 1 or 2 of those will definitely invest with Andy. 1 single post on Facebook, 1 4-sentence piece that you could go craft right now. Wouldn't be perfect, but it'd be good. Just from this video, you can play it back, you can look at the examples and just pinch the words and you can craft it right now. Let me tell you another story. Let me tell you about Lorraine. Lorraine's also on my VIP program, but Lorraine's an action taker. She gets stuff done. So I teach her the property identity piece. She creates it and she goes for it. So she puts the property identity piece out. She also uses Facebook in this example. You know, you don't have to just use Facebook. There's lots of ways to use this. But she puts it out on Facebook. She doesn't even record a video. She just puts 4 sentences on Facebook. And guess what? Somebody reaches out to her that she hasn't seen for 25 years. Back 25 years ago, she was at school with this person. They were acquaintances, not even friends. And he reaches out, he says, hey, Lorraine, I've just sold my business for a lot of money. I'd potentially be interested. What's the return on investment you're offering? And Lorraine explains, and he's like, yeah, I'll put £100,000 in. Now, she's an action taker, so she takes my other teaching. I'm going to teach you in video 4 how to source the deals, of course. So she takes my other teaching, she goes, sources amazing deals. And she goes back to the investor, she says, I've got this amazing deal, you put your money in, you'll get a great return, I'll get a great property, we'll both be really happy. The investors, I'm in, let's do it. And they go and buy a property. That's a property Lorraine never could have owned. But she gets to own it because she learned about this 4-sentence piece and because she was in the right training environment. So they buy this deal. The deal makes a lot of money for the investor, makes a lot of money for Lorraine. Guess what the investor says? They say, do you know what, Lorraine? Actually, I sold my company for a lot of money. I've got 500,000 you can have. Can we get 5 more deals? This is a game changer. Lorraine posted once on Facebook, once, and raised £500,000. £500,000. If Lorraine and Andy can do this, and no disrespect to them, they're everyday people. If I can do this, I'm an everyday person. I raised a £100,000 video too from Mark, doing it all wrong without even a 4-sentence piece, just salivating on his doorstep. Yeah, and I raise these days £20 million a year. You too can do this wherever you're starting from. I've taught people who are 16, 17, can't even get a mortgage to do this. I've taught people in their 90s to do this. If those people can do this, you can do this. You can do this. Okay, so what next? People always ask me, they always say, well, you're going to get me to get this property identity, you're going to get me to post it different places or share it with people when I meet them at events and stuff like that. What happens when someone's got money to give me? How does that even look? I don't even understand how to structure this, Aaron. What does this look like? Well, there are 2 ways to structure a joint venture with somebody else. 2 ways, 2 simple ways. And the first of those ways is the simplest probably, and the least risk for the investor. They lend you the money, you pay them an interest rate, and then you pay them the lump back at some stage, okay? An agreed stage. They lend you the money, they lend you £100,000, you pay them 5% a year, and you pay them in 3 years' time, you pay them the lump back, okay? And people say, well, how do I pay the lump back? Well, if you've bought a discount and the property's gone up in value, etc., you can release the money. I'll teach you more about that later on, okay? There's a second way to structure the deal, which comes with more benefit to the investor, but more risk, and that's to do a joint venture in its full entirety. So they put their money in, and you buy the property together. Now, it might be a 50-50 deal where you have half each. It might be 75 in your favour, ideally, and 25% in their favour. You know, you and them can agree how you structure that deal. And it starts, by the way, with finding out what they want. Many people right now would be happy to earn 3%. So don't assume they need 5% or 8% and offer it up front. What would you be happy to get? If we did a joint venture together and you were lending the money and you were going to get the money back in 3 years, what would you be happy to earn? You'll be amazed. People go 3%. Now, if they go 10%, you say, oh, well, I can't pay that. I could pay 5. And they think about it. They come back and go, okay, I'll take 5. Okay. But they might not go 10%. They might go 3%. And you go, well, I can definitely pay you 3%. Would you want to do that? Yeah, great, you're in. So that's the simplest way, because you get to keep the asset. You earn all of the asset, which is going to go up over the decades to come, and you've not had to give it away. But the second way is to do it as a JV, a joint venture, where you both own the asset. You buy it together. They put the money in, you put the time in, and you own it together. Okay. So now you understand. I know I've done that really, really briefly, but now you understand that there is a 4-sentence piece that you need to build, that you need to share that 4-sentence piece, and that there are simple, easy to follow steps that you can follow, that anybody can follow. Andy followed them, Lorraine followed them, to lay this out. Here's what I'd like you to do. Here's what I recommend you do. There are 2 actions from this video. The first is I want you to create a 4-sentence piece for you. Okay, you can play back through this video, or I've got a second action, which is to download an ebook that covers all of this and what I covered in some of the other videos as well. So somewhere around this video, there's a free ebook. It's free for you. So download that ebook, and in that ebook, I teach you how to build this 4-sentence piece. So if you prefer to learn from reading, download the ebook and read it. If you prefer to learn from video, play back through the video. But the homework is, the action is, create your 4-sentence property identity now. And just for fun, post it out on Facebook, or go post it on LinkedIn, or even better, post it on both, or email it to all of your friends, or email it to the people that aren't your friends. If you don't want to tell your friends for now, you need to, but if you don't want to. But go put this 4-sentence piece out there into the world and see what happens. You never know. You might be just like Lorraine and it raises £100,000 in the next few days. You might be just like Andy and you raise £40,000 in the next few days. I can tell you something for certain. If you don't do it, you won't raise any money. If you don't do it, the money you've got in the bank now is all you've got to play with. The market is about to crash. You will have 6 months at the bottom of the window. You need to start doing this now, not in 6 months, not in 12 months. And you need to do it, because if you don't do it, you won't raise any funds. Okay, now at the start of this video, I said to you there were 2 things that you needed to successfully invest. I said you need to be able to raise as much money as you need, and you need as many properties as you need. Okay, so in this video we've talked about the money. In our next video, which you'll be getting in the next couple of days, into your inbox in the next couple of days, in the next video, I'm going to teach you how to source and find all the world-class properties you need to put in your property portfolio. So however much money you've got, however much money you raise, you can always find the properties to go with it. So you need to look out for my next video coming in the next 2 days. In the meantime, stay safe, stay well, invest with knowledge, invest with confidence, create financial freedom. I'll see you soon. Thank you.